Speaking of those type of fights, the main event was that type of fight for Tszyu, for both guys. Both guys I know pretty well. You know pretty well. The beating that was handed out by both guys, absolute bloodbath. Blood all over the first 4 rows, the media section, the direct media section around the apron of the ring, the middle of the ring, the DraftKings logo changed. The PBC logo, the GTB logo changed. Everything covered in blood. Tszyu, horrible, about 3.5-inch cut over his the top of his hairline, and presumably a broken nose for Sebastian Fundora. Talk to us about that bout.
You know what? It was us as fans and people as fans love those type of fights, but they do hurt a lot. You know, when it, you know, for the opponents, because they are beatings they're taking. But me as a trainer, I wouldn't let my fighter go through that, especially when it was an accidental elbow. It was you know, the cut was huge, and it's not like it was small and it got bigger later in the rounds. It was huge since the beginning. So the best thing for me to have done, I would have stopped the fight and go to no contest, and then do it again later in the year. You know, I'm not going to risk my fighter to fight for 10 rounds with so much blood gushing out, you know, where fighters could lose a lot of energy and you know, people die from losing blood. So that was another half an hour of non-stop bleeding.
Scary when you think about it.
I would have stopped it and go to a no contest, and then renegotiate and do it all over again.
I talked to Tszyu after the fight, and quite frankly, he told me, I said, well, what was it like bleeding the way that you did? And he said, man, I couldn't believe how much blood I was losing. I just couldn't believe it. One would have to think that would alter the way that an individual was fighting. Do you think it's a different fight without the cut?
100%, 100%. And I like Fundora, and I'm happy for him because he's a champion now, and he's local here in Southern California. He's been very respectful to me, his dad, his sister, both champions. You know, I'm very happy for him. I was actually cheering for him to win. But it did make a big difference. Obviously, you know, I don't think I'm the only one that could say that. The whole boxing world says the same thing. It did make a big difference. You know, I know fighters like Tszyu would have never want his opponent, his trainers, to stop the fight. But that's a trainer's job to protect his fighter. And if you're already going in there for 10 more rounds with a very bad cut, a disadvantage that's going to affect you, stop the fight and go to no contest and just, you know, do it again in the future.
After the Fundora Tszyu fight, while the blood was still flowing on Tszyu, Errol Spence Jr. gets in the ring and issues out a direct challenge in Dallas, of all places, for Sebastian Fundora, the two-belt champion, the two-belt 154 champion, to come visit him. What did you think about that?
You know, it's great to, you know, for Spence, it's great to show the world that he's back. You know, for the past few months, like, nobody knew about him. Nobody knew where he was. Nobody knew anything about him. And, you know, him showing up and challenging Fundora was good. You know, now everybody knows, man, he's back, and they're probably gonna put that fight together. Hopefully they do, and if not, he's definitely back, and they'll put something for him, you know, in the next few months. He'll be back. You know, I think at 154 he could make a lot of noise, a lot of things. You know, he's, you know, hopefully that was the case where he killed himself to make 147, and that's why we've seen those results. Hopefully at 54 he comes a lot stronger and fresh. You know, so hopefully he took enough time off. I think he's ready to come back.
And an interesting sentiment there. A lot of people at ringside and in the arena kind of had a different feeling. Comment sections have a different feeling. I spoke with Bernie the Boxer from Terrence Crawford's camp, who downright said that it was disrespectful and that Errol Spence Jr. was being given the brat treatment, the spoiled brat treatment, by being able to make such a request after coming off of a loss where he was simply dominated by Terrence Bud Crawford. And Crawford feels like he should be the one to get the seat to fight Sebastian Fundora, and Sebastian Fundora afterward, for all intents and purposes, did name, saying he wanted to fight the best fighter in the world, which is currently Terrence Bud Crawford.
Well, you know what? I think it's all about, you know, negotiations and promoters and managers that get involved. I know that if I'm not mistaken, the WWE ordered that Sebastian has to fight Crawford, so he would have to vacate if he decides to fight Spence. But you know, yeah, Spence coming off a loss, you know, doesn't mean much. A lot of fighters have come off losses to win world titles. Valdez,
the guys we're just talking about.
We're talking about Valdez. You know what I mean? So.
But do you make a comeback fight after the way that things ended with Terrence Crawford was such a deleterious puncher like Sebastian Fundora, with the advantage in the height and the reach?
Well, my choice would probably say let's get one or two before, because you know there's big fights out there that don't have to be too difficult, too risky, because you know Fundora is just one of those guys that's going to be difficult for anybody because of his style. He's just too awkward, too tall, too high, you know, so he's not going to be easy for nobody. But Spence wants to go after the best, and right now that's the champion right there, 154. So if he gets that shot, then good for him too.
Do you see avenues for victory for Errol Spence Jr.?
Definitely.
You think he can stand up to the power?
He's got the skills. He's got the power. He's got the I'm not saying he's got the height, because that's a big disadvantage. But he does have skills. He does have good counter punching. He's smart. He knows how to adjust to different styles. You know, the only person he wasn't able to do it was Terrence Crawford. But besides that, he's always shown that he's pound for pound one of the best fighters.
And in the past, he's always had that angel on his shoulder, Derek James. Now going forward without Derek James, looking for greener pastures. He's kind of got some figuring things out.
You know, I don't know what happened between them, but
would you be willing to have Errol Spence come down here and train?
Man, he'd become a much better fighter here, sparring the guys that I have. You know, Jose Ramirez, Virgil Ortiz, Duarte. You know, all these guys. You know that I have, Murataya and Lindolfo Delgado. You know, I don't know how his training camps are, honestly, but he needs to be around solid fighters, guys that are, you know, that are gonna push each other to train. You know, if I'm training Virgil at the same time with Jose, they both want to be better than. They both want to look more impressive. They both want to train hard because they're competing against each other in the gym. You know, they're really good friends. They support each other. They're gonna fight together in the same card. But it does help. It does help. And like I said, I don't know.
But would it be in such a proving ground the way that it is down here? Do you think that he'd adjust well based on his success?
Because I think he's one of those.
You think he's still hungry?
I think he has that mentality, and I think he's still hungry. I think he has that mentality too, to come in there and be the best, because you have really good fighters, so you have to. I tell every fighter in my gym, you know, you want to be the best. Even though they're all my fighters, you want to be the best. So they all work hard, they all train hard, they all spar hard, because they want to show that they're the best. And I think that's something like that is what Errol Spence needs. I'm not saying it has to be with me. You know, I haven't even had that conversation with anybody, you know, regarding that. But he needs to find a gym like that where he's going to be pushed, where he's not going to be the only one. When there's going to be more talented fighters.
How do you assess a guy in that situation that's come to you? I know you've had people come to you before that are kind of proverbially in a crossroads of their career. How do you assess them to the point to where you say, okay, I will take the job? What are some things that you look for?
You know, first of all, they got to come and understand that I have a team. And it's not just, you're not gonna just get me, you're gonna get my team. I have my team, you know, Jose Ramirez, Virgil, everybody that comes to me, they know I have a team. You know, Bam Rodriguez right now, pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world. He knows it's a team. So it's not just me. It's a teamwork. They all work together. They train together. They compete against each other, but in a good way. So they got to know that. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna close the gym down because you're special and I'm gonna train you by yourself. It's not even gonna help. That doesn't help. They need to train with everybody else around them.
Iron sharpens iron kind of mentality.
Exactly, pretty much.
What do you think that you could add to a guy like Errol Spence? I heard somebody say that you can't really teach your old dog new tricks. They don't really expect him to be able to learn at this stage in his career. What do you think in particular that you could add to him that is successful?
You know what? I don't think, he already has tremendous skills. So I don't think I need to add skills or anything to the way he fights. I think it's more about the place where he's at. A few years back when Chino Maidana came to me, he was already
yeah,
there was no tricks to
that's who I was thinking about.
And it was just the new atmosphere, the new voice, the new teammates that push you to become better than what you were already. That's that's something that a lot of fighters need when they're tired already. They already want to leave where they're at. They already went through everything with their camp. Find something different where it's going to be a total different change, and you're going to come to work and you're going to want to be better than everybody else. I think that's what that's the difference. That's what happened with Chino Maidana. I wasn't maybe I threw a little more jabs. Maybe I helped him get his left hand a little bit more, where he's throwing the jabs, but his style was his style, and that's how he beat Broner. That's how he almost beat Mayweather, because that's his style. I didn't change anything. I think it was more about him, being in a group that was pushing him to go out and perform and wanted to win as much as him. That's what the fighters need too. They need a team that also wants to win.
I see you got kind of country vibes going on here. Maybe a place where Errol Spence could feel at home.
Oh, that's right. He likes this kind of stuff. You're right.
I rolled up. I saw some chickens on one side, and I saw ducks in the little pond in the front.
That is true.
A serene, quiet place, man, where a man learns to go to battle. This is Marcus Hayes for Fight Hub TV with the legendary Mr. Robert Garcia. Robert, thank you for staying, man, and taking time. I will see you tomorrow for sparring. Appreciate you, my brother.
Awesome.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you.